I was just reading some morning newspapers and some things which struck me. The newspaper writes that why should the West give help to Pakistan, to a country that has reduced its education budget to 1.5% of GDP, in a situation where 6% or four times that is the norm, where a country only 1.7 million out of 170 million people pay taxes, where most of the rich do not pay any taxes. Why should they give aid to a country that is stepping up its production of nuclear weapons so much that its arsenal will outnumber Britain's nuclear bombs? A country that is so corrupt that when its embassy in Washington held an auction recently for flood victims and a phone rang, one Pakistani said loudly that the president is calling to ask for his cut on the auction money. This is the reputation that Pakistan has. Today, if we think little more, we find that here is a country where governance and people's right were in such bad shape that majority of its population, more than 50% of its population, decided to leave the country and form another country called Bangladesh. A country where the government has almost openly washed its hands away from education, public health, and law and order, where basically government has reduced its budget for education so much that even poor have to beg, borrow, or steal so that they can send their children to private schools, where the government hospitals have beautiful buildings but hardly any doctor who is present or any medicines that can be given, where law and order is so bad that even the president's men, even the ministers and high government officials are afraid to travel at night because they may be kidnapped or they may be robbed, where the government and its partners, the leading political parties, are actively involved in kidnapping and robbing. What a country we have. This is a country where a system of musical chairs has been devised, where all the powerful have formed an unholy alliance. Leaders of all the big political parties like People's Party, Muslim League Noon, Muslim League Qaf, MQM, they and the army and the top businessmen and the top civil servants, they have formed a unholy, undeclared alliance where they just take turns in ruling the country, where regardless of who comes in power, there is no accountability of others. These crooks protect each other so that the clique will be protected. I was recently reading an interview with Abdul Sattar Idhi, the famous man who helps poor in Pakistan. Interviewer asked him, "What do you see as future of Pakistan?" And he said that unless there is major change, he predicts a revolution in Pakistan. Indeed, I see the same situation. I see a revolution coming, a revolution of people which will hold accountability, which will really question and which will really have accountability from these crooks who have hijacked our Pakistan. And whether it is the army which has hijacked Pakistan in the name of Kashmir, which they have never solved, but they keep taking more and more resources from the stomach and mouths of Pakistani people, whether it is the corrupt politicians who have made their foreign accounts bigger and bigger, who are simply robbing people and who have suitcases packed so that they can leave the country the moment trouble starts, or whether it is the top civil servants. These people have to be held accountable. Otherwise, this noble experiment of Pakistan will fail. People have to come out in the streets, whether they come out for education, or whether they come out for their daily bread, or whether they come out for protection of life and liberty. People have to come out on the streets in Pakistan, like we are seeing it is happening in parts of the Middle East, except that Pakistani people have to make sure that real change comes so that Pakistan state and Pakistan government works for people of Pakistan, not for the interests of few people who have been simply robbing the country, who have been using slogans which have only enriched them, while common people do not have even huts to sleep in. The top military have five-star guest houses all over the country. The top civil servants have five-star accommodations in most major cities, where the businessmen are so rich that they have their bank accounts at home and abroad are full, where the main economic policies is to sell the assets of the government in the name of privatization, sell everything that people own, sell it to the cheapest bidders who are the same corrupt businessmen and corrupt officials, and leave the public coffers empty, where there are speeches about getting taxes from these rich, whether it is landlords or industrialists or businessmen, while there are speeches, but there is no practical expense. And whenever the money is raised, it is used to make more and more bombs while we are unable to defend our people at home. Wake up, people of Pakistan. Time has come for a major change. Maybe time has come for revolution.